NFL player props here on PrizePicks for Thursday Night Football, December 8th. We got the Raiders versus the LA Rams in LA. Before we get started, there's a link in the description below to sign up for PrizePicks, or you can use promo code TUFF to sign up. Again, we still have the Justin Herbert free square here, 0.5 pass yards on PrizePicks. Obviously, this is going to be a free square. So again, if you're not yet signed up for PrizePicks, check out the link in the description or use promo code TUFF to sign up. 100% deposit match. Also in the link in the description, there is a Discord link as well as Patreon link where I do post all the plays here that I'm making on PrizePicks. So you guys can go ahead and check out that link out below as well. But let's get into it, you guys. Obviously, this is not a super exciting game to be looking at just because the injuries the Rams have. No Matt Stafford, no Cooper Kupp, no Aaron Donald have already all been ruled out for this game. Just really the Rams have, been pretty bad all season, 3-9. The Raiders on the come up. I think the Raiders have won 3 or 4 in a row now. Maybe I think 3 in a row, 5-7 here. And in general, Thursday night football games have overall just been not that great to bet on in general, in my opinion. Raiders are 6.5 point favorites on the road and 43.5 over under here. Overall, I think there is some value currently on the board, but again, me personally not betting too heavily on this game in general. But let's get into it. 2 props that I do like. Again, I'm not a gambling expert, not financial advice at all. These are simply just the plays I'm personally looking at making. Hopefully give you guys some insight and analysis here to make your own player prop decisions. But yeah, let's get into it. So the first one I like is going to be an NFL first half prop, and we're going to go with Derek Carr over 124.5 pass yards here. Now, Derek Carr has cleared this in his last 4 games. There's not really websites to look at his full season first half game log, but 223 against Jacksonville, 137, 150, and 129 over his last 5 games. And Derek Carr more specifically, he's been throwing the ball well. Look at these last 3 games, 8.3, 8.2, 8.3 yards per attempt here for Derek Carr. He's been on a nice little string of games here, 307, 295, 250. And he is, I believe, like 4th or 5th in the NFL in total passing yards. Has 2 games over 300 passing yards. The Raiders do like to, throw the ball downfield. But the Rams just have been susceptible against the pass. This is the last 4 weeks here. And the Rams are 3rd highest yards per attempt to quarterbacks in the NFL over the last 3 weeks at 8.29 yards per attempt, which is really right around Derek Carr's yards per attempt over his last 3 games. Rams, have allowed Patrick Mahomes to cook them for a ton of yards. Geno Smith has been cooking them for a ton of yards just last week. So the Rams over the last 4 weeks, that's really been their Achilles heel, is their pass defense. Run defense has been pretty elite still, but 8.29 yards per attempt. And then total yards, the second most total yards to quarterbacks in the NFL here. So I think it's a great spot here for Derek Carr. I'm taking first half just because we don't know how this game script's going to go, and I think just first half game script a lot safer for this game where the Raiders are some favorites here, and with all those injuries the Rams do have. So the first play is going to be Derek Carr over 124.5 first half pass yards. And then the second prop, I'm going to go with fantasy score here, and I'm going to go with Cam Akers over 9. He's coming off a game where he had 19 fantasy points here against Seattle, and the Raiders, overall, they haven't been able to cover running backs. The Raiders give up on the season the second most points per game, fantasy points per game, to the running back position here at 24 fantasy points per game. Really been getting cooked in the out the backfield with passing right here. 426 receiving yards for running backs, 3 touchdowns. But just overall, I think the Rams, Cam Akers coming off a game where he saw 17 carries, had 60 rush yards, and scored 2 touchdowns, kind of solidifying himself as that RB1 in this, Rams offense, especially with, we don't even know who the Rams quarterback is going to be tomorrow. If it is Baker Mayfield, we know they're going to want to run the ball. If it's John Wolford, they're probably going to still want to run the ball. So I think this is a little bit safer, for Cam Akers coming off a game where he had 19. Obviously, this is somewhat touchdown dependent, but if he can catch a couple of passes, I think he should be able to get some work in on the ground. I think this is a little bit too low for him coming off a game where he had 19. Really no other competition in that backfield for him. Take this one, Cam Akers over 9 fantasy score. Also, I'm just going to give this one, I do like his rush attempts as well at 13. So I'm going to give you guys both of these here. Really, whichever one you feel more comfortable with. Obviously, you could say that rush attempts at 13 is a little safer, but I like fantasy score as well at 9. So Cam Akers, 9 fantasy score and rush attempts because, we don't know who the quarterback is. We know the Rams love to run the ball, and so I just think this is a strong play for him, Cam Akers here. So these 2 player props here, let me know in the comments what you guys feel about them. Drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, and as always, let's cash.